universal design for learning, which is not assistive technology, is an important concept for parents and educators to understand. It's the idea of having multiple and flexible means of presenting information to someone, of having multiple and flexible means of somebody being able to express their understanding of something, and multiple and flexible means of engaging. That's the big picture of it. If I was to distill it down to one thought, it would be providing choice. So that there's not one right way to do any of those things. There's not one right way to give students access to information. There's not one right way for a student in a classroom to let us know that they've mastered the content, that they've mastered the standard that we're asking them to. And there's not one right way of getting a student to be interested in learning. So when we incorporate universal design for learning into a classroom, it really means, am I providing not just lecture at a student, not just asking them to read a book, but am I giving them opportunities to have multimedia experiences? If students are going to present the argument of whether Pluto should be reclassified as a planet or not, they can do more than just read about that in a book. They can go find videos on it. They can find digital articles on it. They can go and look at a book, a real paper book, because that's still a valid way to find out information. And then when they're trying to convince me of what their viewpoint on that is, they don't have to just write that 3-paragraph essay that I was talking about before. They could produce a video on it with images that they've brought in. They could write that essay if that's the way that they want to be able to generate that information. They could use a graphic organizer to structure that and give me all their important talking points from that. They might decide that they're going to create a online game where we're going to learn about, the arguments for that. So there's not one right way to do things. And the way that in a classroom it's successful is if you've gotten them engaged in it, and the way that a student is going to be engaged, that one student is going to be engaged, is not the same way that another student is going to be engaged. And one of the mistakes that teachers make is they want control in their classroom. And so if I only have to teach things in one way, I'm going to be in control. Instead of letting students choose, well, this is the best way for me to gain my information, or this is the best way for me to gain information. That empowers students, it gives them autonomy, and it makes them really think critically about the best avenue for learning.
For more information about effective assistive and instructional technology, please visit ctdinstitute.org. Funding for this video is provided by the Center on Technology and Disability through a grant from the United States Department of Education, Office of Special Education Programs.